So I just wanted to make sure I didn't disappoint him, you know, because you are kind of like in some way extending that legacy and you become a part of that legacy.
Elton's life couldn't be more opposite. So public.
Yes.
So full of very public drama on
True.
occasions.
Yeah.
And so what was it like for you, kind of, when maybe Bernie said to you what it was like for him to be part of that weird kind of alchemy?
Well, you know that they never collaborated together in the same room. Very famously, Bernie would write the lyrics alone, either on the farm or just in a different place, and he would send them to Elton, and Elton would sit alone without Bernie and then compose the music, and that just somehow seemed to work. And then, like I said, you know, Elton really would kind of make him kind of front and center. He'd bring him out during shows. Bernie was on all the tours, on the jets. You know, they came as a package. But you know, Bernie was also not perfect. He had his ups and downs and his turbulent times, and in fact, they did break up for a period of time. They kind of stopped working together for a while, and the film really explores the kind of the highs and lows of that relationship. But I will say that there is a need. They both need each other, and I think that need still exists today. They are the opposite side of each other's coin in a way. Well, I think if you're telling an Elton John story, Elton John is larger than life. It's just the way it is, and I think you can't just tell a normal narrative biopic of someone. You need to kind of employ some other tools to tell it, and we've used his music and his songs throughout his entire career, sometimes not in chronological order at all. We've worked them in a way where they really tell the story narratively. The lyrics will tell the story. But then we're also employing kind of elements of surrealism and fantasy, and kind of the movie kind of spins off of its reality and goes into another reality completely. So some of it is very heightened, and it's a true musical, I would say. It really is. It really employs his sound in a way where it's kind of helping to tell the story in a much more dynamic way, and it's very vibrant and full of life. And I think overall, the story is really a celebration of a life, of a difficult, sometimes turbulent life, where he's really kind of struggling at times. But in the end, he's still with us. He's still going. He's still doing it. He's on a 3-year tour to say farewell, as only Elton could. So it's a true celebration. Yeah.
Now, you met Bernie through the course of making this film, but your relationship with Sir Elton John goes back a long way to just a tiny little movie that's 20 years old next year called Billy Elliot. I don't know if you recall that movie.
Yeah, I do.
At all.
I remember vaguely something about Dancer. Yeah.
And he saw it, didn't he, at the very beginning, and was moved by it.
He saw it when the film was actually called Dancer, because it wasn't always called Billy Elliot. So he was like...
It could have been Tiny Dancer. I'm having a moment.
Well, there was a moment where that was considered as a title. Possibly like in somewhere like Japan. I think it maybe even is called Tiny Dancer in Japan or something. Anyway, he was like one of the first people to see that movie. And I remember at the reception after the screening, when I was a kid, he was like just an emotional wreck. Like the movie just really impacted him heavily, and I think it was the relationship between Billy and his father. I think it echoed a lot of his own relationship with his dad. I don't think his dad ever went to see Elton play. So when Billy's father at the end of that movie turns up to see him perform, I think it just destroyed him. So he obviously then famously went and wrote the music for the musical, which was very successful. And I've just kind of been cosmically tethered to him in a way that I think when he heard that I might be playing his best friend throughout his entire life, it somehow kind of felt right. There was some synergy in that. So it's still a massive honor. It's a massive honor to be part of it. And Elton's a fantastic, great, very loving man. You know, really is.